In this video, I'm going to show you the most asked Greg's interview questions and help you plan strong answers that will help you get the job. So let's look at a really important question, which is what do you know about Greg's? And to help you prepare for this, I've got all of the key facts that you will need to take to your interview. So the first thing you do is describe the very basics. They are a British bakery chain. They emphasize fast service and they are located in very convenient locations so people can get food on the go. They sell things like donuts and vanilla slices. They've got sandwiches, sausage rolls, and they're also well known for their vegan sausage rolls. They offer a breakfast menu and supplement that with seasonal menu offerings. So, for example, at Halloween and Christmas, they bring in special items to add that little bit extra to the menu and get people into the store. So, that's the fundamentals of the business. Now, let's go a step further and look at some more facts that you can use to really try and impress them. So you want to talk about their manufacturing and logistics. So most of the things that you can buy in a Greg's are actually manufactured by Greg's and they have their own distribution. So they've got things like the trucks that they own and they can distribute all of their food around their different stores from their central manufacturing facilities. They were founded all the way back in 1939 by John Gregg, which is where the name comes from. They started in Gosforth in Newcastle and are currently headquartered in Tyneside. They have a rewards program. There's also the Greg's app. I'd make sure you're aware of what the current rewards program is and how that works, and that you mentioned that they've got the app as well. They were also featured quite a while ago in a documentary called Greg's More Than Meets the Pie. And as part of your interview research, it's maybe a good idea to look up that documentary, have a look at it, watch it, and that will help you understand their business. And then you'll be well prepared to really answer this question very strongly. The next question they're going to be very interested in is what times are you available to work at Greg's? And to answer this successfully, you need to think about what they want and try and show them that you are the right person because you've got the availability they need. So fundamentally, you want to show that you meet Greg's needs. You want to say yes as much as you possibly can. And you want to be ready for follow-up questions. So they might say, can you work on a Thursday? Can you work on a Saturday morning? And if they ask about specific times as a reason, they are interested in getting someone to work those times. So you may decide to say no. That is, of course, your choice. But if they do ask about specific times, they're asking for a reason. And if you do say no, it's going to reduce your chance of getting the job. And then you want to also show that you're flexible and open-minded. You want to talk, if you ever say certain times, you want to talk about a preference rather than saying, I will never work at this specific time, because that's very negative. You want to focus on what you can do and offer as much as you can. So here are some great phrases that you might use. So you could say, I have very good availability and I would be able to work a range of shifts covering the entire range of Greg's opening times. That really is the perfect answer. You could say, having researched your opening hours, I've found that it is a perfect match for my schedule. For example, Greg's don't tend to stay open very late. So if you weren't wanting to work late at night, you're not going to have to because Greg's are closed at that time. So you may match what you're wanting to what Greg's actually is offering with their store opening time. So saying that you can't work times when the stores are closed is absolutely fine. The next thing you might say is, I would be interested in overtime if available. There may be no overtime, but just mentioning that is just showing that extra bit of flexibility. If they have said on the job that you applied for the times that they're interested in, you can say, I can firmly commit to being available for all the hours advertised on the advertisement. So basically, if they've said the hours, you can work those. So pick from that list what best matches your availability, focus on what you can do, and show as much flexibility as possible, and you'll most likely be successful and meet their needs. The next question is, why do you want to work for Greg's? And I'm going to be very interested in this answer. So I'd make sure that you have an answer thought out, that you have bullet pointed and prepared a basic answer ready to go. So things that you need to get in. So what makes Gregg stand out? And I'll give you some ideas of things that are unique about Gregg's that might attract you to working there. Show that the skills that you've got and your personal interests match up with working at Gregg's, that they're a good match for your experience. So think about the previous jobs that you've had and how that matches up with working here. Talk in terms of staying with Gregg's. Don't talk about getting another job somewhere else. Talking about leaving the company when you try to get a job there is not a good approach. And then you want to be enthusiastic in your answer. So look like you're really, really serious about working for the company. So things you could say is that Gregg's value employees. For example, they offer a lot of staff discounts that are quite substantial. That you want to be in a job where you get to meet new people every day. That you love Gregg's products. That you've bought food from them for many, many, many years, and you really like their product, and that's going to be part of the reason why you want to work for them. They also offer a profit share, and I was reading recently in the news that the year that this video is going out, Gregg's shared £16 million with their employees in terms of the profit share. So, profit share is quite a significant attraction. You could say I've got lots of relevant experience and talk about the jobs you've had in the past and how that means that this job at Gregg's is perfect for you and you'd be good at it. You could say that you're looking for an active job. You could say that you enjoy working in a team because that's going to be what you're going to be doing at Gregg's. And then you could say, I feel I could build a career at Gregg's. So if you're applying for an entry level role, you can always talk about long term, once I've developed and I'm confident in this role and in the company, I'm interested in progression. And I feel that Gregg's, with being an expanding and growing business, that there'll be opportunities for a high performing employee to progress with Gregg's. And so I feel that I could build a career here. So pick as many as you can from that list and have a good bullet pointed list of 5 or 6 things, learn it, and then you'll be able to give a really confident, strong answer to this. The next one is, how would you deal with a difficult customer? And unfortunately, when working at Gregg, some of the customers will be difficult, and there is a simple way to answer this confidently. So the first thing you're very clear about is, I provide excellent service to all customers. So they've said, how are you going to deal with this horrible, difficult, angry, irate, grumpy, unpleasant customer? And your immediate response is, I provide great service to everyone. Doesn't matter if they're unpleasant, I can deal with it. Don't worry about it. Then you say, I remain calm and I always professional. That's good to reassure them. Then you say that you look to understand the causes of difficulty. So why is this customer being difficult? What has went wrong? What's upset them? Are they having, are they just having a bad day and they need, someone to be calm with them? Or have Greg's made a mistake, has something went wrong and needs to be fixed, and they're being difficult and angry because they really want that fixed. Then you say you actively look to resolve customer issues. So you look at what is causing this customer to present as somewhat difficult and what can I do to resolve that. The next thing you say is that at all times you would follow Greg's policies. You don't need to go into detail about it. Just say, I would follow all Greg's policies at all times. And then to really round off your answer, if you've got previous experience of working in a similar sector, you could say, I'm confident and experienced in effectively managing challenging customers, and mention some of the jobs you've had in the past and say, I have in these jobs encountered many challenging customers and I've always been able to deal with it effectively. The next thing you might want to mention is the herd technique, which is a really good technique for dealing with difficult customers, which is to hear, emphasize, apologize, resolve, and diagnose. So you could talk them through the herd technique as something that you would follow with a difficult customer to help resolve that difficulty and provide good service in the challenging circumstances. So that's really how you ace that question. So get these ideas in and you'll have a really strong answer. They often ask for you to tell me about yourself, and they don't want you to just waffle about random things. They're interested in specific things. So what you want to talk about is show the experience that Gregg wants, then match Gregg's desirable qualities, then show that you have the right motivation. So the experience that they want, ideally food retail experience, anywhere where you've worked selling food would be the best experience to talk about. Then all retail experience, all experience working in a retail environment, then you would go out to your wider experience. Any qualifications that you've got, mention those, particularly, for example, food safety, or if you're applying for a management role, any management qualifications or even high school qualifications that show that you've got that little bit extra. And then any skills you developed in those jobs. So if you worked in food retail, talk about how you interacted with customers, you managed challenging customers, you dealt with customer complaints, you delivered great service in those jobs. Then think about the qualities they want, and you can describe yourself as hardworking, reliable, a team player, honest, ambitious, friendly, and easy to work with. These are the sort of things that Greggs are looking for. And then you want to show the right motivation. So finish off your answer by talking about the fact that you love working with customers, that this is the perfect job for you, that you love the Greggs brand, and that you're looking to build a career in food retail, and maybe say 1 or 2 sentences about your long-term ambitions and how you could grow and develop with the company. And then by doing this, you've got a great answer. So you've told them that you've got the experience that they want, you told them that you're the right characters, and then you're showing them why this is the right job. And that's really going to round off a fantastic answer. Again, I would have this ready. They may ask it towards the beginning of the interview. They may say, talk me through your CV, and you can adapt this question very easily on the spot to that. So being prepared for this is really going to help. If they just say something like, can you introduce yourself and tell me a bit about you? This is how you answer it. So whatever they ask, you've got something to go by. So plan it out, have it bullet pointed, and you'll be really ready for this. They might ask, what is your favorite Gregg's product? And what they're testing is, do you know our business? Do you know our product? And can you actually, potentially sell our products, that you've got that knowledge? So the first thing is, make sure that it is unique to Gregg's. Don't pick something that you can get anywhere. Then think about what makes it special. So why is this one better? You might talk about how Gregg's manufacture it in-house. They've got a lot of control over the quality, that it's consistent. Doesn't matter what Greggs you go to, you always get that high quality, that it's fresh, fresher than the competitors. You might think about, why is it great value? So you say it only costs this much, even though it's this good. It's really delicious and it's very affordable and it meets my budget. Then you can compare it to the competition. So you say, I've tried products at your other competitors and they don't measure up. They're not as fresh, they're not as tasty. That's what keeps me coming back to Gregg's. And then you want to link to some of Gregg's keywords. They like to talk about their food being very fresh and the idea that it's consistent. It doesn't matter which Gregg's you go to, you're going to get that great experience. So that's how you describe your favorite Gregg's product. So don't just say my favorite one is, end of answer. Talk about it in detail. So what's special about it? Why is it good value? Why is it better than everybody else? And talk about fresh and consistency, and you've got a really great answer. Then before we finish, here are some questions you might want to consider asking after the interview. So they'll say, do you have any questions for us? And it's a good idea to have a few ready. So I'll give you some suggestions of what you could ask and what you shouldn't ask. So one, you might say, in your opinion, what is the best part about working for Gregg's? And then sharing their enthusiasm for the company. You could ask, what are the potential career opportunities with Gregg's for a high-performing employee in terms of training, progression, and development? So you can express some of your ambitions and see how over time you may develop into those roles. You could say, could you tell me more about the team you have here at this Gregg store and how my role would fit in? Understand exactly what your job involves and who your colleagues will be in the structure, and show a real genuine interest in that. You could say, I am of course highly interested in this role at Gregg's. I would therefore be interested to know the next steps in the recruitment process. Find out when you're going to find out if you got the job. Will you get any feedback? And then before you finish, say thank you, reiterate your interest, and end on a positive. Things that you should never ask about is taking holidays, taking time off. So how many days off a year do I get is not a great question. You're trying to get a job and you're saying, how often do I not need to come to work? Delaying the start date doesn't look very good. Or trying to move to another store. Say, I live closer to this one. Would I be able to transfer? And you think, no, they're trying to hire for this location. The other store might be fully staffed, and you're probably being interviewed by the manager of that store, and you're saying to them, you're trying to fill a job here and I'm trying to get a job somewhere else. So you're not going to be their favorite candidate. So don't talk about that. So I hope this video was helpful to you. If it was, please like and subscribe and post in the comments what questions Gregg's asked you. And finally, thank you very much for watching.